James is having waffle pizza again.
Wow, look at that.
And that's with a fresh tomato sauce and mushrooms, black olives.
In other words, made in the kitchen, right? Not
Yes.
that fresh tomato sauce.
Yeah, I made it with fresh, but it's just fresh tomatoes. It's not, I didn't cook it into a sauce. It's
That'll be
I
grand.
pureed it.
It'll probably be way better.
Yes.
Stuff that we
good.
get sloshed on pizzas and stuff like that, which still tastes good. But, I heard Pauline while I was working around Silver Plow, working away in the kitchen. It's more like slaving, really, with the food processor. So there was a lot of worrying and stuff like that, and that was just Pauline moving around.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's much appreciated. So have you got anything to talk about, or it's rare these days not to have something to talk about?
I was given a package of tomatoes from the Salvation Army, and some of them look like green grapes. And so I've saved the seeds from a couple.
Yeah, I was noticing the seeds were gone. I thought they may be mutant tomatoes, and they make mutant fruit now, foods now. They don't have seeds.
Yeah, well, these taste delicious. So.
Yeah, they look
And they
intriguing.
Yes. Well, the thing is where I am, it makes sense for me to grow tomatoes that might not catch the eye of people wandering by.
Exactly right. So Pauline lives right next to an alley, and she's got some peat rows. I don't know if she's ever shown them on a show, but right on the alley, and people do, almost feel okay when they take the fruit, because what they do in the peat rows, should we mention? I don't want to mention, actually.
I don't feel okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to stress that they're my tomatoes. I grow them.
Yeah,
I don't feel okay.
I'm exaggerating. I'm talking by comparison with what happens, like with some people peeing, at least. I don't know if they've actually pooped at least.
No, not yet.
But I was regretting bringing that up. We're trying to eat, but it's hard to avoid these kind of topics, because these kind of conversations. Yeah, as the Fogoshes keep on saying, gotta have these conversations. Anyway, it's nice that you mentioned something nice.
So I'm very
Salvation
thankful.
Army. Was it that from the Salvation Army? Thank you,
I'm very
Salvation
thankful. And they also gave us these golden berries.
Yeah, we're growing some back here, but they're not.
I don't know if we're gonna get fruit.
Well,
this year, because
they were kind of challenged over the winter.
I don't know. It's been hot, and so they've been growing like a lot of foliage, but
almost like
I haven't
a weed,
seen flowers yet.
No. So Pauline's rolled them in at least 2 winters in a row. She doesn't want to do it this winter.
I really don't.
Yeah. They're almost like members of the family, but it's just so much work rolling them in. It's hard on the back.
Well, I have to keep caring for them. I don't know.
Well, there's the watering too and stuff like that. They are almost like members of the family. But they have to be.
But
no
I
way
am
they
a
could
little
survive
interested to see
outside.
how many years I could keep the plants alive.
Oh, once they get the heat here and the sunshine, they just flourish. They kind of suffer a whole lot in the wintertime. They don't get enough sunshine, I think.
Yeah.
If a person that is solarium,
Well, I don't give them my best windows, because I only have so many windows to grow seedlings in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've got some windows facing to the sun.
Tomatoes.
So, but once they get outside in warmth and stuff like that, it's amazing how they just take off here. So, this is southern Alberta, and we live in LA North. LA, it's a style themselves. A lot of people in Northbridge, a Twin City is part of the LA complex. Culver City, it used to be one of the centers for Hollywood, not Hollywood itself, but for the movie industry in Southern California. I think a lot of them fled the coop, maybe got too expensive to land there. They moved many to up into, what do they call it, the San Fernando Valley, north of the, what are the mountains there, San Gabriel Mountains, something like that. And so north of Laurel Canyon, the Topanga Canyon and stuff like that. Probably really scenic going through there, but even when I was a kid, they were laughing about the, what was it, the NBC studios on Laughing in coming to you from, did they say Glendale? I think it was Burbank. Well, it's same general area.
Well, in any case, if you want to grow your own golden berries that are huge like this, they'll get this big in the season if you have a sunny spot for them.
Yeah.
Give them the water.
This isn't the sunniest spot.
Just save a couple seeds out of, like you could buy a package of goldenberry seeds, but why? You can just buy a package of goldenberries.
Yeah.
And save a couple seeds.
Yeah, that's right.
So far, I haven't had any problems doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're growing something commercially, if you're selling it, then you might have some sort of legal issues doing that because they could be genetically altered and patented.
Well, I don't know. I think anything like that, you should be lucky that you're not sued for whatever bad things that might come
Oh no.
down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So getting a patent on something
So
like that.
honestly, I think that's
should
the
be
way
understood
it
with
should
the
happen.
patent.
It should
Hey,
work both
you want the
ways.
patent on it? You want some money
Exactly.
for the economic goods?
You're
you
going
got
to
to pay for
if
the
you're-
economic
Yeah.
pads.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's not the way the capitalists.
No.
Oh, capitalists! How did that R creep in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way they want it.
No.
So they're corporatists too. You know, the nice thing about this show is if you're a corporatist, it doesn't matter if you're right, left, center, or whatever. If you believe in the corporation, the corporate body, having more value than the individual members, you're going to get a conversation. We're going to have a conversation. So can I segue into what I
Yes.
want to talk about? Let's have a conversation. You know, like I have conversations with the faux gauches out there. Let's have one with the vrai droit, the real righties. Down in Bama, Arkansas. Those are the ones I've been hearing about, but it's probably Georgia, Florida. I was hearing about southern Mississippi. I knew it would happen. Pauline knew it would happen. Anyone who had any sense knew it was going to happen. You guys were watching New York get hit with COVID. California, big cities there, get hit with COVID. We've had plenty of time to absorb other people's lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Smart people learn
From other people's
from other
mistakes.
people's mistakes. But you made the biggest mistake of all. Well, not the biggest. I don't know what the biggest for COVID, but not getting the vaccines, not wearing the masks.
Yeah. Well, you know, the smartest thing to do during a pandemic is to stay away from everyone else. So if you're a survivalist, awesome for you. I mean, if you know how to hunt for your own food and somehow put up a log cabin and whatever, get out there, you know? You have everything you need.
Yeah, so that's a real,
go for
real
it.
mountain man.
Yeah.
But if you're one of these mountain men, you know, strutting around the streets in camouflage. Hey, I'm hiding in the wide open. Look at me. I'm camouflaged for some sort of vegetation or some sort of
Yeah, if you're
desert or
if
something
you're wearing
like that.
camouflage in the city, it is kind of funny because really, I mean, should you be wearing gray?
Yeah,
Blend
exactly
in with
right. You
Or
should be
maybe
wearing.
black.
Just wear a
Blend
business
in-
suit.
Blend into the
A gray
asphalt
business suit.
and cement.
Look at me, I'm a mountain man. This might seem cruel, but it's not. They had a couple on CBC. Well, a guy representing. Golly gee, my wife was pregnant, and we lost the baby. We now both got our vaccines. Hey, dude, do you believe that that baby was a person?
Yeah.
If you do,
If you're a pro-lifer, you just murdered your own baby.
yeah, the baby died. So it might seem cruel, but according to your own ethical system, if you are pro-lifer, chances are then you just killed your own baby. You killed a human being. So they got the governor, Arkansas. I know what I was saying last year. He had this really high voice. I'm changing my tune now. Everyone out there get their vaccines. Hey, you idiot. You should resign, and you should actually say to the courts, come sue me. I'm on the hook for thousands of dollars. How much is a person's life worth? You shameful puke. You should be paying $1 million for each life lost in Arkansas. This is the governor, I believe, of Arkansas. Golly gee! It really exists! Stupid.
Well, you know, honestly, I can see how a lot of people were thinking that it doesn't exist, given the...
Well, there's a lot of lying coming
response
from the Fogoshes, yeah?
Yeah. And
Lots of lying. It's not just about the
crazy.
COVID. Yeah.
But, I mean...
let people fly the coop. Let them come back in. Justin Trudeau, come on back in. Come on down.
Yeah.
So, but it's not just COVID. There's lots of lying come from the faux gauches. That's why I call them faux. They're false. Lying.
Yeah, it's like right now. Honestly, I think with the whole systemic racism thing, yeah, you know, they heard it first from the Chinese and like government officials or whatever who were saying, don't close the borders, that would be racist.
With China.
You
They
know?
should have closed the borders with every country in the world.
Yeah.
Every country should have done that with every other country, and they'd be doing themselves and every other country a favor.
So, I mean, when it comes down to it, after the fact, anybody would be looking at China and going, wow, you guys are racist, you know?
Yeah, you don't care about
Government
other people.
officials.
Yeah.
And the
The
WHO.
People's Republic of China.
Wow.
People, who awful in
Yeah.
the People's Republic of China's pocket. No, in the American pocket, but the loyalty doesn't follow where the money's coming
No.
from. It's where the ideological stuff comes from.
But
China. People's Republic of China. Get that straight.
honestly,
I'm not talking about Taiwan. I'm not talking, not yet, about Singapore.
I think
Singapore's got some big
our
problems.
various governments in Europe, in Canada, United States, I think they were playing with that systemic thing, and they were saying, okay, well, we can make this look like it doesn't exist. The word systemic, when people hear the word systemic, they'll say, no, it doesn't exist. It's just fake news. And because what happened right before COVID hit, if you look into it, right before California, there were people looking for basically some sort of compensation because a systemic herbicide, Roundup, or glyphosate, if you want the chemical name, was being used on crops. like lots, so much. It was being used not only on Roundup Ready crops, but it was being used as a seed desiccant. So anytime you ate anything with a seed, they'd use that to dry the seeds out. So if you're eating a flower or something, right, that wouldn't have been washed off, and that would have been ground right in there. And honestly, I don't even know if you could wash it off. So, but anyway, people in California were trying to set up like class action suits and stuff like that against because of this, because it was found that Roundup, after all this time, basically everyone in North America, I don't know how many people would eat organic exclusively, and even if you do, pesticides will travel through rain or whatever, it gets on, there's residues even on organic food. So everyone in North America and a lot of other places were eating this pesticide, and they've been eating it for the past 20 years. So if you have a 20-year-old kid, they've been eating it the whole time. And you don't know what those effects are going to be, but one thing that they found is that it's for sure carcinogenic.
Oh.
They found it. So people in California were getting together about this. So I think the governments were saying, we can't possibly afford to compensate people for all of this. Like, they're going to be right pissed, and rightfully so, because we've been giving them cancer. So they're now trying to brand the word systemic as fake news, so you won't get all puffy about being given cancer.
I can't argue against that.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be doing all these dumb things? You can't be that dumb, all you leaders out there. No. I'm going to be talking now about the globalist right-wingers. David Frum was on the CBC today. I want to apologize as a Canadian, not just to Americans, but to the whole world, because we're the country who visited David Frum on the world. He is the son of a woman who used to do the news. It might have been on CBC, national news. It might have been CTV. Barbara Frum. I think she swang a different way from her son. I didn't put him up for adoption. I'm afraid I would have been thinking about it. Anyway, former speechwriter for Bush Baby, as I call him. You wonder why I call him Bush Baby? Look up Bush Baby on the internet, or in an encyclopedia.
Bush babies are cute.
They are cute. So is George Bush Jr. in a certain way. The way he looks, he's kind of got that scared, goggle-eyed look, you know. I have to do something on this job. Where's Dick Cheney? Where's Donald? And then Dick Cheney's going, where's my mentor, Donald Rumsfeld? He's got to make this decision for me. So, yeah, David Frum, his latest offering to the publishing industry and to the reading public is Trump-pocalypse. Hey, you stupid dude. I'm not talking about Donald Trump. Read my lips.
I do like the title.
Oh, it is good.
Mm-hmm.
Who is responsible more than anyone else for Donald Trump's rise to power? George Bush Jr. Same thing happened in 2008 has happened in the wake of 1929.
What?
1929. Big crash. Economic crash. Stock market crash. Economic crash.
Okay, but you're not saying George Bush Jr. was responsible.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you saying that?
Because he brought the world economy down to its knees.
Okay.
And we're still suffering the consequence. You look at what happened in the 30s. You got extremism. You got Hitler coming to power in 1933. I think it was January 13th, something like that. And you had the Japanese military taking over. I believe it's 1931. You see? See how these things work out? And you look at all the crazy things that were happening in the world. The Arab Spring, really the Arab Fall leading to the Arab Winter. You notice what's happening. The big triumph of the Arab Spring was supposed to be Tunisia. Check that up in the news right now. See what's happening. Took the winter a little longer to set in there. But gee, 10 years. But yeah, look at what's happening. It's supposed to be, democracy. George Bush couldn't bring democracy to the Middle East. The Arab Spring will do it. Like fun for both of them. So yeah, Bush Jr. is heavily responsible. So the extremism, you'll get the fundamentalism coming out in the Middle East and other
I
places.
hope we really wanted to hang out here.
Or you get Antifa.
Do you want to come up?
Horrible
you
mix
come up on that side. How am I
of
gonna lift you up
anarchism and communism. Still got a few minutes
Yeah, you
left.
have 10 minutes. Can you come, Opie? Opie, come to this side. You go ahead and talk. Oh,
And then you got what's called euphemism, I'm afraid.
There you go.
Populism, which is I'd call it
Stuff in
nascent fascism. So Trump, Trump wasn't as bad as Hitler. He isn't as bad. He doesn't have a party of his own. Hitler did. He's like a couple of the adventurists that preceded Hitler, and a couple of years before him in Germany. But there's more of that stuff lurking under the rock. So you are responsible, David Frum. Take some responsibility on your shoulders. I want to hear you say, I am responsible. Say it now with me. You listening? You, David Frum, I want to hear you say, I am responsible. Partly, but hey, if you're involved in driving a getaway car in a bank robbery gone wrong where someone gets killed, you're responsible for the murder.
Are you handsome? Yes, I'm handsome.
You, David Frum, are responsible for Donald Trump being elected.
Do you have nice
Take
ears?
on that responsibility.
Yes,
Maybe
nice
you do in the book.
ears.
I doubt it. Being one of these global capitalists
You wanted James's pizza.
means never having to say you're sorry. Greed means never having to say sorry. It's like that book, Love Story, and later a movie, I think around 1970. Love means never having to say you're sorry. Greed means never having to say you're sorry. So you've been griping about Donald Trump taking over the sleaze bucket party that you signed up with, or on to. You guys are awful. I want that understood. You're not as bad as communists. I've got a moral compass. You're not as bad as fascists. So when people call you fascist, okay, you're not. And you're not as bad as communists. The things you allow businesses to do, especially in third world places and so on and so forth, are pretty slimy. But you're not killing off tens of millions of people. But I want this heard and understood. Heard and understood. The Democrats, whatever their failings, and they do have failings when it comes to the social system and when it comes to foreign policy. And they've had that ever since Jimmy Carter, well, really before, when you had idiots like George McGovern and McCarthy wanting to soft pedal their approach to communism in Southeast Asia and elsewhere. With Jimmy Carter, it was anyone like, hey, can I be your doormat while you walk into another country? Let me lie down for you. And he's still alive. He should have died of embarrassment long time ago. You hear that, Jimmy? Die of embarrassment now. He wants to get involved in the Palestinian-Israeli
It's still there.
brouhaha. And that's an understatement when I call it a brouhaha. And what he writes is, it's something like the Middle East or the Holy Land. I can't remember what it's freedom. I think it's or apartheid. What? You just picked up the Palestinian. You might as well. You should be getting money from the Palestinians for shilling for them. You useless puke. The people who are on the Bantustans in the Middle East, they're a small enclave of people who've been brutalized by empire after empire after empire of the Jews. And here you are requiring them to open up their reservation to outside settlers. In the United States, I gather, non-indigenous people can settle on reservations. Hey, reservation means reserved. So here in Canada, they're kind of like rules about settling on. It might be a little bit too strict when it comes to women marrying into the group.
Why did your sister? Did she not? She teaches on.
Well, it might be the men marrying or something like that. But anyway, it's maybe a little bit too restricted.
I think she lived there.
Or she lived there. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I don't know how she would have qualified. Did we know back then that we had indigenous background? I'm not sure, but shouldn't we?
Yeah, maybe she qualified for that.
Well, strictly speaking, I don't think Métis should qualify. But like the rights of Métis people, that's I should say mestizo, like me, don't trump the rights of someone who's more pure-blooded or stuff like that. Edward Said, notwithstanding, he's going around saying, or he used to, hey, we have a right to the land because we're part Romans and we're part Greeks and we're part Arabs and we're part this, that, and the other thing, and we're not as purebred as the Israelis.
No, I don't know, but there's just got to be some place.
That's like saying the mestizos have more right to land than the indigenous people. It doesn't work out that way. Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that, but I'm sorry, Opie. You just had stuff in your hair. But I think that reserves should be governed by people that they're reserved for. That's what they're working towards in Canada. So if you have a bunch of
but you get the people who are, indigenous rights and stuff like that, and nothing like that for the Israelis. No. Right of return. That's like saying, hey, some of this land has been given up for indigenous people here in Canada, and farmers have a right of return. Yeah, inconsistency, hypocrisy, that's faux gaucherie for you. There you go. Anyway, David I've gone after the faux gauches, I've gone after the populists, I've gone after the corporatists, the global corporatists, and I've mentioned a little bit about fundamentalist Muslims and stuff like that, all corporatists. I could mention the Catholic Church, stuff like that. That's a corporatist kind of entity too. So, could mention the Mormons, corporatists.
All right.
Anyway.
Are you done?
Wrapped up within the 10 minutes and stuff like that. I'm not happy. And you guys had better turn it around. I think it was Rilke. I don't know if it's a bad translation. Said, "You must change your lives."